All right, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges we face today. How in the world do we organize all the information out there? I mean, it's everywhere. This whole field is called data architecture, and trust me, it's one of the most important puzzles we're trying to solve right now. So let's just dive right in. Okay, just to give you a sense of scale here, look at this number. By 2025, we, that's all of humanity, are projected to create 180 zettabytes of data. What's a zettabyte? Well, a zettabyte has 21 zeros after it, so that's a 180 times 1,000 million bytes. It's an absolutely mind-boggling amount of information. And that brings us to the big question, right? The whole reason we're here. It's not just about finding a place to dump all this data. We need to organize it in a way that actually makes it useful. So yeah, where do we put it all? So before we jump into the different solutions, and there are a few, we really have to get a handle on the problem itself. Because, the nature of data has it's gotten really complex. And that's where this whole story really starts. All data kind of goes through the same life cycle. First, it gets created. Then it's processed somehow. And finally, hopefully, we can get some useful reports or insights out of it. But here's the kicker. The data is usually created in totally different places that don't talk to each other. We call these silos. Think about it. A company's customer info might be in one system, like a CRM, while all its financial data is in a completely different one. They're just not built to communicate. So naturally, our first instinct was to tackle the easy stuff first, and that's what we call structured data. This is the kind of information that fits perfectly into nice, neat rows and columns, just like a spreadsheet. Things like customer lists, inventory numbers, financial records. It's all very organized, clean, and super easy to work with. But of course, things started to get a little messier. We started getting a lot of what's called semi-structured data. And this stuff, it doesn't quite fit into those perfect little tables. It has some organization to it, right? Think of an email. It has a sender, a recipient, a subject line. Or a JSON file, which is how a lot of data gets passed around on the web. It's got structure, but it's way more flexible and a lot more variable. And then you have the real Wild West, unstructured data. And honestly, this is most of the data being created today. We're talking videos, songs, podcasts, all those social media posts, Word documents, you name it. There's no predefined format at all, which makes it an absolute nightmare to try and analyze with the old tools. This right here, this is the big one, the biggest challenge we have. Okay, so you've got all this data piling up in different, disconnected silos. Something had to be done, right? And so the first major solution appeared. It was a real attempt to bring some order to all that chaos, and it focused squarely on the stuff we knew how to handle, that clean, structured data. The idea wasn't brand new, actually. The groundwork for this was laid way back in the 1970s, thanks to some brilliant folks like Edgar Codd, who came up with the whole theory behind relational databases. But it wasn't until the 90s, when companies were really starting to feel the pain from all those data silos, that the data warehouse just exploded in popularity. It became the practical solution. Now, the main thing you've got to understand about a data warehouse is what it's for. Its whole job is to pull in that structured, historical data from all those different silos and mash it all together into one single unified place for analysis. And it's fantastic for that. For business intelligence, for reporting, it's a game changer. But, and this is a big but, it only works if your data is neat and tidy to begin with. But you know how it goes. The world doesn't stand still. The internet exploded, big data became a thing, and suddenly there was this absolute tidal wave of that messy, unstructured data we talked about. This super organized, orderly data warehouse, it couldn't keep up. It wasn't built for that. This brand new problem needed a brand new solution. And so around 2010, the data lake was born. And the whole philosophy behind it was completely different. I mean, a total 180. Instead of carefully cleaning and structuring all your data before you store it, the data lake said, hey, just dump everything in here. Structured, semi-structured, unstructured, all of it in one giant repository, in its original raw format. But, and you knew there was a but coming, all that amazing flexibility came with a massive risk. If you weren't careful, if you didn't manage it properly, your beautiful data lake could quickly turn into a data swamp. And that's exactly what it sounds like, a murky, chaotic, totally unreliable mess where data just goes to die. The incredible freedom of the lake could very easily lead to total chaos. So now we're stuck, right? We've got this new dilemma. On one hand, we need the reliable structure of the warehouse for all our business reports. But on the other hand, we desperately need the flexibility and sheer scale of the lake for modern stuff like machine learning. It's like we needed something that could do both. The stage was basically set for some kind of hybrid. I mean, let's just lay it out, side by side. You've got the warehouse. It gives you amazing structure and order, perfect for BI, but it's super rigid. Then you've got the lake. It gives you all the flexibility and scale you could ever want, which is great for machine learning, but it could easily descend into chaos. It felt like you were forced to pick your poison, to choose between two options that weren't quite right. And that is where the Data Lakehouse comes in. This newer architecture is designed to be, you guessed it, the best of both worlds. It basically takes some of the smartest features from the warehouse world, things like transactions, which just means your data updates either happen completely or not at all, keeping things reliable, and indexes, which make finding data super fast, and it puts them right on top of the cheap, flexible storage of a data lake. So now you have one system that can handle both your traditional BI reports and your advanced machine learning projects. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I know that was all a bit technical, but don't worry, because there's a really simple way to think about all this. It's a powerful analogy that makes everything click into place, and it involves a little trip to a certain Swedish furniture store you might know.
Yep, you guessed it, IKEA. To really truly get the difference between a warehouse, a lake, and a lakehouse, all you gotta do is picture your last trip to IKEA. And this just works so perfectly. Think about it. The data warehouse, that's the IKEA showroom. You walk through, everything is beautifully assembled, organized into perfect little rooms, and ready to use. It's super easy, but you're totally limited to what they've already built for you. The data lake, that's that massive, chaotic storeroom in the back. You can just dump any flat pack box in there, total flexibility. But good luck finding the exact part you need and figuring out how to assemble it. It can be a real mess. And the data lakehouse, well, that's the hybrid. It's like having the showroom and the storeroom combined. You can store and grab fully assembled furniture or the flat pack boxes, giving you access to whatever you need exactly how you need it. You know, this whole field is moving at lightning speed. Innovations are happening constantly. We've gone from the super orderly warehouse to the super flexible lake, and now to this hybrid lakehouse. It's just constant evolution. And that leaves us with one last really big question to think about. As our world keeps creating more and more complex data, what do you think the next great solution is going to look like?